승리의 여신 니케.
Another day, another NIKKE event. But before we start that, of course, we got some polls to make. 60 standard vouchers. Let's see if what I get from the standard poll. Am I finally gonna get Rosanna and complete the set? We'll see. Nothing on there. Nothing there either. Oh, hello. Two. Whoa.
잘 부탁해. 양산형이지만 화력의 전도자. 화력의 전도자. 반가워. 잘 부탁.
강해지고 싶어? 무장 점검 완료.
명령을 내려주십시오.
Petra. Actually, a dupe. Alright.
사실은 인류 해커.
Another Tetra.
어때?
Bunny milk again. Alright. Let's double check that wish list then. Yeah, that puts them both at MLB, so I can take them off the list. Let's see. Exia and you. It really is just Rosanna that I'm missing out of everyone that's available. Let's see. You know what? I did recently get base treasure maxed out, so I'm trying to get a third copy of her. And you know what? Sure, let's join Mary. Another SSR, okay. Two again. Bacillus. Alright, Avenal dupe. They still haven't done anything with you in the game yet.
잘 부탁드려요.
Are you the only character in the game that hasn't had any content? Petra? And there's the Bay MLB! Rosanna really is just avoiding me! Alright, let's get you off the list. You know what? Let's throw you in there. Because you still get used for squads and anomaly and PvP. What? What's with all these SSRs?
명령만 내려주세요. 솔저 이글.
화력의 전도자. 아저씨.
명령을 내려주십시오. 잘 부탁드려요.
Petra? just added you to the wish list! Well, now I can take you off the wish list. Rosanna really is just avoiding me! Alright, sure, noise, because you're still a decent support, I think. Alright, last standard pull. Okay, that's nothing. Alright. Let's see how many pulls it takes me to get EH. See if maybe I get Rosanna off of here. Nothing. Alright. Did I really just blow all my SSR luck getting those 5 in a row? Off of standard? Jeez. Oh boy. Surprise SSR. Alright. Just all the way near the end.
쓸자 팔콘. 뭐든 맡겨만 줘.
명령만 내려주세요.
아저씨, 벨로?
무장 점검 완료. 잘 부탁드려요.
아저씨. 쓸자 팔콘.
Elysian?
이해치야. 신세졌던 만큼
Third pull?
최선을 다해 도울게.
화력의 전도자, 화력의 화신. 그게 바로 저 네온입니다.
Alright. Let's get you loaded up. I don't really have any Elysian attackers. Actually, no, I know what I can do with you. Instead. You a doll. Elysian. Hi, Cinderella. Viewing the synchro device.
이런 재료를 어디서 다 구해온 거지?
You know what? Yeah, let's check her recruitment message. Azure. Is this coming through? Yeah. Messaging you like this feels a little awkward. You'll get used to it. I'll get used to it, huh? Get used to it. Am I even allowed to get used to normal life? I robbed other people of the normal lives they dreamed of. Me. I'm the one to blame. That's all the more reason for you to understand. Understand what? What normal life is like? Yeah. But I don't deserve that. Heck, I don't even deserve your words of comfort. Well, if you experience for yourself how precious normal life is, maybe you won't do the same thing again. Maybe you're right. I won't try to be the cause of such a tragedy again. Sorry, you shouldn't have to say all of this stuff to me. At times like this, it's better to say thank you than sorry. You're right. Thank you. I get the feeling that if I have you by my side, I won't do any more things I'll regret. Do you mind if I message you every once in a while? Not that I think I'll have anything important to talk about. You don't need to have anything important to talk about. Just reach out. That's what normal life is. Sorry for all the bother. Wait. You said I should say thank you instead. Thanks for listening. I'll message you again later. Glad to help, Elysian Harper. Alright. It's time. Alright. Light is our right. This event is not voiced, so I'm just going to be reading things over. Though I did that for Light Cause Recoil as well, so not much different. Bleh! Viper, my throat hurts. Seriously, doesn't anyone ever clean around here? Why is there so much dust? Should I eat it all? Would that make my throat stop hurting? Don't. It'll only make it worse. Oh, okay. Thanks, boss. Now then. I'm assuming this event takes place not too long after Chapter 44, just considering that's when the commander actually meets back up with EH and Exotic Squad. Now then, the tip we got said there have been sightings of dangerous people coming and going around here. Viper looks around the area. I see a whole bunch of dust, but no signs that anyone's actually been living here. Yeah. There aren't even any light fixtures. Plotting something shady in the dark, huh? I wonder what it was. Viper! Boss! Over here! There's stuff written all over the wall! There's literal writing on the wall? Viper turns on her phone flashlight and shines it on the wall Jackal is pointing at. What the? What is this? The wall is covered in words written in red. Traitors. Hypocrites. You abandoned us? And what's that in the center? Light is our right. Heavenly ascension. Now again, in Korean, the group is called Enter Heaven, which plays on the initials of EH's name, with her actual name being Elysian Harper. Do you think Enter Heaven is behind this? Hard to say. I thought you'd already taken care of all that. I did. But now it looks like a little investigation is warranted. I'll handle it. By yourself? Yeah. EH stares at the wall, filled top to bottom with writing. I'm pretty sure this is a message meant for me. Suspicious signs. Come in. Thanks for making time. I know how busy you are. You said it was urgent. What's going on? It's about a terrorist group from the Outer Rim. Enter Heaven. Do you remember them? Of course. They were behind a lot of terrorist attacks in the Ark. Crow used them to blow a hole in the Dome of Eternity. Then do you know who founded Enter Heaven? I do. Good. That'll make this quick. As you know, EH is the one who founded Enter Heaven. Right. Why are you telling me this now? After the attack on the Ark, EH expressed a desire to atone for her sins. She asked to become a NIKKE so she could take responsibility for what she'd done. As part of the deal, she was forbidden from leaving the Outer Rim. A bomb was placed around her neck, and she became the leader of Exotic, agreeing to dismantle Enter Heaven herself. Those who left the group under EH's orders were spared their lives, while those who didn't were punished for the terrorist attack. And Enter Heaven was thereby declared disbanded. I had no idea that all happened. However, there's an issue. Since then, the remnants of Enter Heaven were quiet, or at least we hadn't seen any signs of activity from them. Recently, though, we received intel that they've started moving again. Didn't you say the group was dismantled? It was, but then reports started coming in. Light is our right. Enter Heaven. Like, I have heard arguments of the Heavenly Ascension for the English-speaking audience as a name for a terrorist group. Sure, but I do think Enter Heaven could still work because they're naming themselves after their goal, which is to enter heaven, with their idea of heaven being the Ark. That's their most famous slogan, and it's being written all over the Outer Rim. Couldn't it just be some copycat, though? Of course, that's entirely possible. But we also can't rule out the possibility that there are remnants of the group still around. If so, EH's report of dismantling Enter Heaven may have been false. A ruse meant to protect what remains of their group. At least, that's one theory. The suspicion got pointed at her. It's not unreasonable for the central government to come to that conclusion. After all they see when they look at EH is the former head of a terrorist organization. That's why they're asking me to look into what's really going on with her. Do you think she lied? I don't know. I can't say. I don't want to give my opinion first and influence your judgment. Besides, let's just say I'm not fit to judge. What do you mean by that? For now, I want you to see EH in person and determine whether she's involved in this or not. You were one of the victims of the attack, but you also have a long history with treating NIKKEs without prejudice. If there's anyone who can remain impartial here, it's you. Alright, I'll meet with her. You're really going through with it? Oh, hey, this is the second event that has Rappy in her red hood attire. The other one being the 2025 summer event, Boom the Ghost. Yeah, I was asked to. Were you able to get in touch with her? No, She's not answering any messages or calls. And that's not good. Whatever's really going on, this whole situation is suspicious. I'd advise keeping your guard up, Commander. Regardless of whatever EH intended, something is already in motion. You can't do as you've always done and blindly trust someone because they're a NIKKE. Don't worry. How can I not? Let me come with you. It's dangerous to go alone. If we move as a group, we'll draw too much attention. We're fairly well known now. Even so, it's better than being defenseless. I just don't want to provoke them. Regardless of who's doing this, their recent actions have been bold. True, but I don't want to escalate this and drag innocent people into it. Still, I don't think going at it alone is strategically a good idea. That's why I've already contacted someone else. Someone else? Wait, you don't mean... That's exactly who I mean. Oh? Suspicious signs, side B. Honey! Viper. It's been a while. It's unlikely you to be the one to call first. I just haven't been able to reach EH. Oh, I don't mind the reason. I'm just happy you reached out first. Commander! So happy to see you! Yeah. Thanks for coming out. Don't mention it. So, you're looking for our boss too, huh? Yeah. I heard Enter Heaven's on the move again, and I wanted to ask her about it. Yeah, we've been tracking them ever since we found signs of their activity. You've been tracking them too? Who do you think first found the wall with that slogan written on it? It was us. But a few days ago, after we found a certain wall, she said she'd look into it on her own. We haven't been able to reach her since. She's not responding to you either? Have you tried going out and looking for her? You bet. I ran around everywhere trying to catch her scent. But I couldn't smell her anywhere, so we didn't find her. I see. Can you show me the wall you found before she disappeared? Of course. It's deep inside the outer rim. It's deep inside the outer rim, though. Are you sure you're up for it? It hasn't been upkept for a long time. To the point that there aren't even any lights. It's dark and dangerous. It shouldn't be a problem with you two around, right? Oh my. Here you were so guarded earlier, honey. And yet now you're putting your trust in me? I don't see any reason for you to betray me. I suppose that's true. Especially given the events of chapter 24, she is not going to do anything that would bring harm to the commander. Are you going to double-cross me again? Of course not. Won't do anything like that again. Not now or ever. I'm not going to betray you, honey. I swear. All right. I trust you. Thank you. Viper said thank you? Then I'll say it too. Thank you, Commander. Now, as a sign of our trust and commitment, how about a handshake? A handshake? A handshake. Viper extends her hand. You said you'd trust me, and yet you're already hesitating? I would never do anything to hurt you, honey. I swore, remember? Alright. I take Viper's hand. Your hands are so warm. Viper lets go of my hand. Good. I'm all charged up now. Follow me. Pioneer of the Outer Rim, Side A. Following Viper and Shackle's lead, I head deeper into the Outer Rim. There really aren't any streetlights around. It's dark, huh? Enter Heaven never developed this area. That's why there aren't any lights. Enter Heaven developed areas? Mm-hmm. The entire Outer Rim used to be like this. It was already dark enough without the Dome of Eternity. But with the partition blocking the way, barely any light from the Ark could get in. EH changed that. She said people shouldn't live in a place this dark. And so she dug through piles of scrap to find light bulbs. Ran electrical lines through the buildings that were still standing, and installed streetlights all over the place. After that, people started following her, even though she was an outsider. An outsider? EH? You didn't know? What do you think EH stands for? Do you not know her real... Do you know not her real name? I feel like that was an error. It should be, do you not know her real name? I think it was Elysian Harper? So you know her name, but not that she was an outsider? Since it's Elysian that sent you, I figured they would have told you everything. Sounds like that's not the case. Is there more I should know? It's probably better if you hear everything from EH directly. It's all really personal stuff, so I don't think it'd be right for me to talk about it. She's our boss, you know, and I want to respect that. For now, just know that EH was originally an outsider who came into the Outer Rim on her own. Alright. You two seem to be on pretty good terms with her. Who? With EH? I mean, it's not like we were strangers before. We already knew she treated her people well, even back when she led Enter Heaven. Once she actually became our boss, though, that's when we really understood why people liked her. Yeah, boss treats me well. She does say I can't bite whatever I want, though. There's a lot of things she tells me not to do. I don't like that. I want to chomp stuff, but she says no. That's because you keep eating weird things and getting stomach aches. Oh, really? Then I like Boss. She's nice to me. I didn't really expect that. After what happened with the attack on the Ark, I figured things would be more strained between you. You'd think so, right? You'd think so, right? I did too. So when EH first became our boss, I just flat out asked her. And then... What a surprise! You're the EH, and now you're here to lead Exotic. Did you volunteer for it? Yeah. Really? But we stabbed you in the back. Are you really okay working with us? Yeah. Wow, very impressive. Oh, unless you're here to try and reform us former criminals. Is that it? Of course not. My hands aren't clean either. Still, you're different from us. You had clear convictions. Ideals and intentions don't make a mistake any less wrong. I've no intention of lecturing you two, as though I'm somehow innocent. I joined Exotic because this squad is the only one operating in the Outer Rim. And I figured I can protect this place. I have no resentment toward you, and no desire for revenge. We can't change what happened, and now we're all paying our own price. That's all there is to it. I had no idea you're the type who makes life harder than it needs to be. Not that I mind. Honey's a straight arrow too. You remind me of him in that way. Okay then. I look forward to working with you, boss. Me too, boss. Likewise. And that was that. Do you get it now? She's got a good heart. Despite everything we did to her. That's why I don't think she's trying to rebuild Enter Heaven. I realize you might not believe all that because it's coming from me. But I do hope you'll hear her out. At least once. Don't worry. That's why I'm here. That's the kind honey I know. I guess it probably meant to be read as, that's the kind honey I know. Let's get going. We're almost there. Pioneer of the Outer Rim, Side B. I follow Viper and Jackal into a rundown house. As we enter, our footsteps stir up a cloud of dust. Ah, I'll never get used to this dust. I hate this place. Makes my nose and throat hurt. Then do you want to wait near the entrance? It shouldn't be as bad there. Okay. This is the last place you saw EH? Yeah, that's right. See that wall? Viper shines her phone light onto one of the walls. Words like traitor and hypocrite are scrawled all over in red. How could you abandon us? Words of resentment. Die, central government lapdog. As well as some curses. There it is. And the familiar refrain. Light is our right. Enter heaven. Enter heaven's slogan. So this is what she saw. Yeah. She said it was a message meant for her. It's probably from someone who resents her for breaking up Enter Heaven. If that's the case, it means she's a target. And if she's been unreachable ever since, she might be in danger. Yeah. Given that she was strong enough to hunt down NIKKE's even when she was human, I have a hard time imagining something happening to her. But when people harbor a grudge, you never know what'll happen. It's possible she came back here at some point. Let's check the house one more time for any clues. Alright. Jackal, it's time to stop playing out there. We need to see if we can find any signs that the boss was here. Aw, man, inside there? My nose is clogged from all that dust and my throat hurts. Then just use your eyes. Oh, right. Okay. I'll help find boss. However, no matter how much we search the house, there's no trace of EH. There's nothing here. Maybe she didn't come back? Viper, my nose really hurts. I can't take it anymore. Yeah, we can stop. This isn't good. We can't just go searching through the entire Outer Rim. For now, let's step outside, honey. Staying in here can't be good for you. Yeah, let's go. Hurry! Hurry, let's go! Viper, Commander, hurry! Okay, we're coming. Before following Jackal and Viper out through the entrance, I glanced at the writing on the wall one last time. What's wrong? Something catch your attention? No, just taking one last look. Looking closely at the phrase, light is our right, enter heaven. I noticed a small groove edged into the word light. What's this? I pressed my hand against it. Huh? The ground gives way beneath me. What the? Honey! And I drop down. After a fall that lasts longer than I expected, I slam into the floor below. Ah! I look around. The room is pitch black. Where am I? Huh? You're not Viper or Jackal. Who's there? Ah! Something heavy slams into my head. And I lose consciousness. Elysian Harper, Side A. So much blood. I hear someone's voice. Come on, wake up. EH? Do you recognize me? Yeah, I clutch my throbbing head and sit up. Try not to move. It looks like you hurt your head. Right. Before I passed out, I got hit on the head with something. You did? By who? I think I saw the silhouette of a man, but I couldn't make out anything. Why is your gun and your coat sweating? Also, I will still never get over the fact that they decided to attach C4 onto her tits. And even the C4 is sweating. Like, what the hell? I see. Don't worry. I'm not that badly hurt. You shouldn't push yourself. You lost a lot of blood. The wound looks pretty bad. I'm really fine. A strange chill runs through me. Aside from the cold, I really think I'm okay. Mind if I take a look at the wound? You're wearing gloves, right? Yeah. Okay then, go ahead. Just be careful not to touch the blood. Alright. EH comes closer and carefully examines my head. It's completely healed. Judging from all the blood, I'm sure it was a serious injury, and yet... What's wrong? Nothing. Yeah, it's that Vop House! Fucking freak of nature healing factor right now. She starts to check the rest of my body, starting with my back and arms. Thankfully, it doesn't look like he sustained any other injuries. Still, just because the outside's healed doesn't mean you don't have any internal injuries. Head injuries shouldn't be taken lightly. Let's rest here for a while before we get moving. Yeah, sure. She might be right about me not being fully healed. I'm starting to feel colder. What are you doing here anyway? Looking for you. Me? Yeah. Ingrid told me Enter Heaven is back. Oh. That. I came to confirm whether you're connected to it. Whether I'm connected? You came to check whether I'm behind all this. Seems the central government suspects you. They think you never really disbanded Enter Heaven, and that you falsified your report. I see. It makes sense for them to distrust me. To them, I'm sure I'm just a criminal who switched sides to survive. And now they want Ingrid to look into it. Yeah. Then she asked you to investigate. And to determine for yourself whether I'm behind this. Yeah. She said she wasn't fit to judge. Not fit, huh? Yeah, I could see her saying that. I'm sorry. You got dragged into this because of me. The fact is, I am connected to this. The one writing all those things everywhere. as if Enter Heaven is rising again, is sending me a message. He resents me for what I did, and considers me a traitor. The fact is, I did put an end to Enter Heaven, and it's not like I don't understand where he's coming from. So you figured out who it is? Yeah, I did. We agreed to meet, but when I arrived, I was knocked out with sleeping gas. And that's how you ended up here. That's how you ended up here. He's most likely the one who knocked you out as well. I doubt he expected you to be looking for me. So he must have panicked when he saw you. He did seem confused, muttering something about me not being Viper or Jackal. I figured. After hitting you, he must have realized you're connected to the central government. He probably put you in here with me, figuring that if we die together, suspicion would naturally fall on me. Whatever the reason, I'm really sorry for you. I'm really sorry for you got caught up in all this. Typo, let's see. I think it should have been, I'm really sorry that you got caught up in all this. Well, now I have a better idea of what's going on. You're tangled up in something messy as well. Still, my telling you all this doesn't prove whether I really put an end to Enter Heaven or not. Ask me anything. I'll answer. In that case, why did you form Enter Heaven? Why would you want to know that? I know you've been fighting for the rights of the Outer Rim. What I don't get is why your resistance took on the form of terrorism, or what led to your subsequent change of heart. That's why I want to know more about how it all started. I think it'll help me judge better. Judge what? Me? Yeah. Alright. You've been dragged into this mess. The least you deserve is to hear the full story. It goes back pretty far, though. Elysian Harper, Side B. Do you know what my name used to be? I've been getting that question a lot today. Huh? I think I heard it was Elysian Harper. That's right. Elysian Harper. That was my name until I chose to cast it aside. Elysian, as in the company? Yes, that Elysian. It was a name that came with a lot of weight. Having that name meant I was the next CEO. In other words, I was the heir to Elysian. The heir? That would mean that you and Ingrid are half-sisters. We share the same mother. I'm the younger one. Oh! Ingrid's the older sister! Okay! Our mother was the former CEO of Elysian. Ah, that must be why Ingrid said she wasn't fit to judge. Your family. Hold on! How would she be the heir if she was the younger sibling? Usually it's the older child in the family that becomes the family heir. Although I guess considering she was named Elysian and Ingrid, well, wasn't. Your family. Yeah, I guess. Honestly, I didn't realize she still thought that way. What kind of company do you think Elysian is? An arms manufacturer strangely obsessed with tactics, a company strangely obsessed with uniforms. Considering tactics is kind of Ingrid's whole thing. An arms manufacturer strangely obsessed with tactics. Tactics. Yeah, Ingrid does like that word. Anyway, you're right. It's an arms manufacturer that focuses on tactical excellence. But that wasn't always the company's top priority. In the past, Elysian pursued only one thing. Power. Power? Yeah. More precisely, the power of humanity. When the Raptures attacked, humans abandoned the surface and fled to the Ark. My mother believed that, in order to avoid extinction, only the strong must survive, so that humanity could grow stronger and evolve. That's what she used to say, at least. And that sounds similar to Elysian's current philosophy, but also a bit different. That's right. Ingrid believes humanity must use technology to defeat the Raptures. But she's not so fixated on the sole pursuit of strength. Mother was different. She pursued strength to the point of obsession. That's why she wanted the strongest of her children to be her successor. Ah. So your mother deemed Ingrid not strong enough. But then since you decided to come to the Outer Rim, there was no choice but for Ingrid to become the successor. Ingrid and I were constantly tested and compared. I came out on top, which is how I became the heir. And the reason I was given the name of Elysian. If it weren't for a certain incident, I would have inherited Elysian as planned. What incident? Did you know that Elysian built the Outer Rim barrier? What? No, I had no idea. Of course, it was the central government's proposal that initiated the process, but Elysian spearheaded the construction. Mother had long believed that the weak were meant to be culled, and felt that garbage should be kept separate from human habitats. So she naturally welcomed the proposal. Okay. So your mother was that kind of person. She knew people were living there in secret. She used to say they lacked gratitude for being allowed to live in the Ark. Instead of squandering their lives on gambling and pleasure, she called them garbage. At the time, I really thought the people in the Outer Rim were all like that. But then, during the final inspection of the wall, I was sent to the Outer Rim in my mother's place, since I was the heir and all. That's when I learned for myself. The Outer Rim wasn't a mere trash dump. Just like the Ark, there were people living there. Real people, not garbage. Hey! What are you doing? Huh? The young boy and girl are startled and step back, dropping a fuse. What's wrong? It sparkles, and it's pretty. You were going to light a dynamite fuse because it's pretty? You were going to light a dynamite fuse because it's pretty? We wanted to make light. Everyone says there's no light here. Yeah. We played around with fire on that mountain. The light was really pretty. We just wanted to see it one more time. Is that not allowed? It's... What are kids like you doing here in the first place? Where are your parents? What did you even... What do you mean? This is our home. This is your... home? Mom's here too. She's inside over there. I think. The children timidly glance at the fuse. Are we really not allowed to light a fire here? Really like to see more pretty lights. No, it's not allowed. You could get hurt if you're not careful. We could? Lise and Harper carefully looks at the mountain of trash. Use this instead. Huh? She picks up a sparkler that had fallen to one side of the trash pile. And then lights it. And then lights it. Bright light begins to burst from the tip of the sparkler. Wow! These are the only things you should be lighting. Okay? Okay. That's when the thought hit me. People live here. I can't just ignore that. The strength of humanity. Proposal for okay, so the mother's name was Elysian Franca. Okay. Oh, like, is Elysian meant to be, like, the family name in this case? Because if it's both if it's both the first name of EH and her mother, then family name of Elysian, EH's given name is Harper, and her mother is Franca. Although, we don't know if Ingrid has the name Elysian or if she's just known as Ingrid. Proposal for improving the living conditions of Outer Realm citizens. Of Outer Rim residents. Elysian Franca tosses her table down. I sent you on such an important assignment so you could learn about what being my successor entails. But now it looks like you came back more foolish than when you left. Who are the residents of the Outer Rim? There aren't any humans there, last I checked. Mother. That entire place is filled with garbage and nothing else. After being granted the privilege of escaping the surface and seeking refuge underground, they chose to hold themselves up in that dump. That makes them garbage. If you really view those things as people, then that tells me all I need to know about how poor your judgment is. There are children who were born there who aren't like that. It may be true that the adults who went there were weak and made foolish decisions, as you say. But those children never had a choice. That doesn't matter. Being born in a dump still makes them garbage. What kind of logic is that? If their lives are meant to be anything more than that, then they'll find a way to survive, to get stronger, and to make it out there. And to make it out of there. If they can't, it simply means they were born weak, and they will die weak. That is the law of nature. I've said it many times before. Humanity as a whole must become strong. Only by casting aside the weak and strengthening ourselves can we survive in this world where inhuman monsters run rampant. But see, the flaw with that logic is, if your intent is to improve the strength of the collective by getting rid of those who are the weakest, you will constantly be getting rid of the weakest people in the group until there's only one left. That's not how shit works. Have you really not learned that yet? Still, they're just children. If you really can't understand, you aren't qualified to be the heir of Elysian. Don't become weak, Harper. Okay, yeah, so Harper is supposed to be her given name, if her mother's referring to her by that. The heir of the great Elysian must not be swayed by pity for the weak. Be clear in what you keep and what you cast away. For the sake of a stronger human race, the weak must be discarded. Otherwise, humanity will never grow stronger. It is only through strength that humans can avoid falling behind in this inverted ecosystem and accomplish the great feat of reclaiming the surface. Okay. It was then that a thought came to my mind. If we only pursue strength in an attempt to avoid extinction, and in the process we discard our humanity, can we really still be regarded as human? When that thought hit me, I couldn't take it any longer. For days on end, I kept asking myself, What is true strength? And then finally, I came to a conclusion. If being Elysian's heir meant I wasn't allowed to think like that, then I would give up my position. Harper! Ingrid. Are you really leaving? Things just turned out this way. Sorry. Looks like we won't be getting tested together anymore. And Mother's okay with it? No. She was angry. She called me pathetic and wouldn't let me take anything with me, saying maybe I'd get the sense knocked into me and come back. I've got nothing, aside from these weapons. Do you really want to save that place that badly? Yeah. I'm going to turn the Outer Rim into a place where people can live like human beings. Then I'm going to show the entire world. I'll prove that there are real people living there, in the place everyone else calls a dump. And that they can no longer ignore them. And to Mother, I'll prove that the strength that humanity actually needs to pursue doesn't come from some extreme version of survival of the fittest, but that the strong need to help the weak and give them the chance to get stronger so that everyone can grow together. And then it's only by retaining our humanity that we can truly become strong. Yeah. Yep. Like, Harper absolutely has the right of it. Like I mentioned before, if your sense of strength is by removing those who are weak, who are the weakest of the group, eventually you're going to be left with no one. Because there will always end up being someone weaker. No matter how many people you end up casting out. Until only one is left. The strongest of the two. But by lifting others up and making them stronger to help benefit, to help everyone else, so that everyone else gets helped in turn, that is true strength. That's the strength of humanity that I'm after. And what I want to prove to everyone. Things may not go the way you want. I'm not trying to say that everything Mother said was right. But there are definitely those who've given up and only take from others rather than making an effort themselves. If you start preaching your ideals to such people, they might take advantage of you. There will be those who learn you came from the Ark and that you were Elysian's heir. And, out of jealousy, they'll threaten you and try to use violence. You won't be able to rest for even a second. And yet, in spite of all that, you still want to hold onto your ideals? Well, when it comes to violence, unless their NIKKEs aren't like soldiers in the surface reclamation wars, they'll surely be weaker than you. So I think I'll be fine. You idiot! You can't let your guard down! No matter how strong you are, you're bound to fall if you get careless. I know. That's a valuable lesson Mother hammered into us as children. Look, I know what you're trying to say. The Outer Rim will be dangerous. I realize not everyone there will be good like the children I saw. But even so, I refuse to give up. Harper, unfortunately, that means I won't be able to help you. I know you wanted us to work together on your plan to make humans and NIKKE stronger through technology and tactics. Still, I'll be looking forward to watching you from afar as you create Elysian's finest forces. The Absolute Squad, who will bring unmatched tactics to any fight. And the Extrinsic Squad, who will protect others from berserk NIKKEs. Elysian Harper extends her hand to Ingrid. So Absolute and Extrinsic were meant to be the pinnacle of what Elysian could do. And that was a thing around the end of chapter 24 where Harper, EH, asked Ingrid if Extrinsic was finished. Or, like, was completed. To which Ingrid said, yeah, they have been. Alright. I'm really hoping you prove to Mother that you're right. Let's both succeed in what we're trying to do, wherever we may be. Ingrid firmly grasps EH's hand. Take care of yourself. You too. Enter Heaven, Side A. You came straight to the Outer Rim after that? Yeah. If I wanted to change the Outer Rim, I figured I had to live here myself. And I'll tell you, I was surprised at what troubled me the most while living here. It wasn't the thugs picking fights because I was an outsider, or living in a house without a ceiling, which I've never experienced before. Nor was it the thieves that tried to enter in whenever I closed my eyes. It was the fact that there was no light, just like those children had said. Aside from the faint glow of the Dome of Eternity seeping in from beyond the massive barrier. They constructed it so high, they constructed it high enough to avoid any light from the Ark getting in. That is fucking brutal. Like, holy shit. Aside from the faint glow of the Dome of Eternity seeping in from beyond the massive barrier, there was no light in the Outer Rim. So I decided to change that first. When I began, I noticed there were a bunch of wires everywhere that didn't seem to be used for anything. They were capable of drawing power though, so getting electricity wasn't difficult. The challenge was finding someone in the Outer Rim who'd done electrical work before. I managed to finally find someone after a long search, and we began building streetlights together. We gathered bulbs from the landfill that could still be used, and installed them one by one. Wow, it's so bright! What is this? It's so pretty! What's the big deal? Why are you making such a fuss over a few light bulbs? They're too bright, I say. Why are you even trying to lighten up this landfill anyway? Your eyes will get used to the brightness. This may be the Outer Rim, but we're still human beings, and we deserve to live in the light. Don't we? Well, I suppose that's true. I think we need to start trying to live more like people. After all, we're humans, even if we may not live in the Ark. One moment. Screen went dark for a moment. After that, I installed lights along what was considered the main street. Gradually, people began gathering under the light. And then eventually... Boss! 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 At some point, people began calling me boss. And that wasn't all. I want to live somewhere with more light. I want to see a brighter world. I want to feel the world beyond the partition. They started saying these kinds of things to me. I figured that since I was the one who brought these people together, I had to respond to them. So I shouted, "Let us head toward heaven. Let us prove to the world that we are alive, and show them that we are people, One day, we shall cross that partition into a world overflowing with light. Let us ascend back into heaven. I think, like, if, like, using that as the basis for the name Heavenly Ascension, sure. But again, going off the Korean name of the group being Enter Heaven, I think it would be Let Us Enter Back into Heaven. So, that, again, that's just kind of how I'm reading into it. From that moment on, we took the name Enter Heaven. So yeah, no matter what, the group is named because of the goal that they want. Their desired goal, to ascend into heaven, or to enter heaven, with heaven being the ark. Heavenly Ascension, Side B. I see. But the more I hear, the less I understand. Why did you resort to terrorism? Everything you said sounds pretty far removed from that sort of violence. You're right. That wasn't how we operated in the beginning. At first, we were almost like a neighborhood watch group, just trying to make the Outer Rim a better place to live. We made people in the Outer Rim get jobs. It could be any kind of work, even the darker kind. No matter what it was, we made a rule that if you worked, you received compensation. Making sure I didn't miss anything. Okay. Some gangs liked us, and others hated. But we approached all the established crime bosses the same. We tried to settle matters by whatever means possible, and then formed tacit alliances with them. That's how we came to know Underworld Queen. We made an agreement with them to protect one another, and that became our greatest source of strength at the time. Once word spread that they were backing us, smaller gangs fell in line a bit more, and they started protecting homes for Outer Rim residents in exchange for payment. Okay. Slowly but surely, the Outer Rim gradually stabilized. So they went from... Underworld Queen pretty much went from... trying to enforce the laws of the Ark on the people in the Outer Rim to keep them from being violent and whatever, to becoming protectors, largely because of EH. Slowly but surely, the Outer Rim gradually stabilized. And that's when people started raising their voices. They said the time had finally come for us to speak with the Ark. We may have still been living in a landfill, but at least we were living like humans. And they said it was time we showed the Ark that. So, we tried. We secretly crossed the partition, put up posters, and shouted slogans. The Outer Rim isn't a landfill. There are many people who live there. Right now, there are many who are living amidst garbage without ever seeing a single ray of light. Your attention can bring light to the people of the Outer Rim. It can bring a new future to the children growing up there. Bring light to the Outer Rim. Bring light to the outlaws. We focus on raising our voices. But don't trespassers get killed on the spot if you get caught? Not back then. It wasn't as difficult as it is now for outlaws to enter the Ark. Security wasn't as tight. Also, outlaws weren't considered a threat back then. But that also means there was no one was willing to listen. That also means there was no one willing to listen. Right now, there are many who are living amidst garbage without ever seeing a single ray of light. Your attention can bring light to the people of the Outer Rim. Boss, are you okay? I don't know what you're going on about, but shut it! I can't stand the noise! Verbal and physical abuse felt almost preferable to nothing. It at least meant they were listening. The real problem was how the majority of people were so indifferent. Everyone pretended not to hear, just staring at their phones as they walked past. What is she doing in the middle of the street? Excuse me. Oh no, I made eye contact. The woman wearing earphones hurries away. It felt like I was shouting into the void. And it wasn't just me. I'm sure everyone who was there with me felt the same. We decided to change our strategy and send petitions directly to the central government. After we sent dozens, even hundreds of them, they finally agreed to arrange a meeting. We were hopeful that we were finally getting one step closer to what we wanted. But how come no one's here? It's been 6 hours. Did we get the date wrong? No. This is the right date. Lizzie and Harper looked at the door of the meeting room, knowing no one is coming. After that happened several times, we got the message. No matter how much we petitioned them, the central government would not meet us. No matter how much we shouted, the Ark would not listen. We grew more and more exhausted until a certain someone proposed something. If they refuse to listen to us, why don't we make it so that they have no choice but to hear us out? No way. We'll put on a grand fireworks show. One they can't possibly ignore. Yeah. It was Crow. Haven't seen her since chapter 24. The bullet fired. Side A. Crow was part of Enter Heaven too? Yeah. I don't know how she joined or who vouched for her. All I remember is hearing she was born in the Outer Rim. At first, she was quiet, diligent, and devoted. She patrolled the Outer Rim with us, and went to the Ark with us to demand better rights. She went without hesitation to places other members avoided, and withstood all the physical and verbal abuse, and even the indifference. The reason I thought of her as a comrade, despite our philosophical differences, was because I saw how devoted she was then. But at some point, she stopped being quiet and started speaking up, raising her voice, and expanding her influence. While I was away from the Outer Rim to meet with the central government, she built up a small faction inside Enter Heaven. That's how much influence she'd gotten. You want to resort to terrorism? Are you out of your mind? Whoa, whoa, calm down. Why are you getting so worked up? Terrorism's a scary word. Don't call it that. Since the Ark is so bright that... they can't seem to see those of us who are living in the darkness. I think it's supposed to be... Since the Ark is so bright that they can't seem to see those of us who are living in the darkness. I'm just saying we should light off some fireworks to help them see better. Oh, don't try to make it sound harmless with words like fireworks. Your plan is practically the definition of terrorism. You want to sneak bombs into key central government facilities and detonate them. A ton of people in the Ark would die. It would be a catastrophe. Why should we care? Let the bigwigs in the Ark deal with all that. Do you think anyone in the Ark cares about us? About how many die of sickness? Or how many children are going blind because there's no light? There's a call to Neon and Stall. Or how many are killed by explosives that got mixed in with the trash? You could make that as a reference to Junkrat, I think her name was, or Alley Rat. Crap, I already forget her name, and I apologize. We screamed our lungs out, but they didn't care one bit. It's the same thing. Our people dying from sickness or accidents isn't the same as outright murder. And unlike us, the Ark has a super high-performance AI managing everything. Come on, boss. You lived there before. You don't have to pretend like you haven't. We all know you came from the Ark. You! How dare you accuse Boss of being from the Ark? Do you have any idea what she's done for the Outer Rim? Oh, of course I do. I'm well aware of how hard our dear boss has worked for the Outer Rim. And how much has changed since she came here. How could I not? You're a good person, boss. Even I know that. I doubt there's a single person in the Outer Rim who hasn't benefited from your efforts. We know how hard you've tried. That's why we've all followed you this whole time, including me. That never happened with anyone else. You threw everything away and came to the Outer Rim with nothing. And lived alongside us for years. Brought light to this dump that had been covered in darkness. But what resulted from that? No one listens to us. No one remembers us. Why? Why? Because it isn't sensational enough. That's the thing about people in the Ark. Their lives are so peaceful that they've had so much handed to them since birth. That you can ask them as sweetly and kindly as you want, even raise your voice, and they won't so much as spare you a glance. If it isn't sensational, they dismiss it as boring and couldn't care less. So what? What are you trying to say? And how does this all lead to us becoming terrorists? Terrorists? Didn't I say not to use scary words like that? We can still do what you want, boss, and go into the Ark to tell them what we think. All I'm saying is we add a little spice to our words. That we do it the outlaw way. We make it a game to get them more involved. If they find the bombs before they go off, the Ark wins. If they don't and the bombs go off first, we win. But seeing how they already have so much, and we have so little, it's only fair that we apply just a tiny handicap to them. We'll know the entire plan, but they won't. Once they get engrossed in this little game of ours, they'll finally start listening to what we have to say. I guarantee it. So, Crow takes one more step toward Elysian Harper. Just this once, I'd like us to do things my way. What do you say, boss? The look in her eyes told me that she'd go through with it, even if it meant having to go through me. She spoke in a way to rile others up, highlighting how we were together in this. and sugarcoating her words to downplay the crime and make it feel justified. Crow was an agitator, and a charismatic one at that. The others were starting to agree with more and more of what she said. And that's when I realized something. Boss, what we need isn't to throw a tantrum like timid children. We need a revolution. One with fire and blood. Because the truth is, those things can't be avoided if we're going to get what we want. But that'll never happen if we do things your way, will it? That's why I'm gonna do it instead. I realized I had to put a stop to it. No. I can't allow that. What you said what you said is right. My way is peaceful and uneventful. It's never going to stir up the people of the Ark. I understand wanting to give them a shock. People might actually remember our name if we do. But killing people is a completely different story. All we'd be doing is giving them the go-ahead to shoot every one of us. Not just us, but everyone in the Outer Rim. Like you said, we have nothing compared to them. That goes for firepower too. True. If they get serious and come here for blood, we'd be lucky to escape, never mind defend ourselves. It wouldn't even be a fight. Of course, we've all snuck into the Ark before, so we might be able to flee there. But what about everyone else in the Outer Rim? The children, the sick, the elderly. Who's going to protect them? And it's not just the central government. The reason we were able to make a pact with Underworld Queen wasn't because we were so determined that we'd shed blood for our cause, but rather because we were protesting peacefully for our right. If we do things your way, that pact would collapse. All the order that we've spent years establishing would collapse. Order, huh? That's why I'll never approve of your plan. It's not just for our sake, but for everyone's. Huh. For everyone's sake. You say you're afraid the central government will set their sights on all outlaws. But that's easy enough to solve. We just changed what we've been shouting this whole time. What do you mean? We stopped saying, bring light to the Outer Rim, bring light to the outlaws. Instead, we make sure they know it's us. Light is our right. Enter heaven. We change our slogan. Then the government won't target everyone in the Outer Rim, but only enter heaven, right? That's... No. Well, you're the boss. I get what you're worried about. Crow picks up the paper with her plan on it. Pretend I didn't say anything. Thanks for understanding. Like I said, you're the boss. Crow turns to leave, then stops. But there is one thing you should know. Not everyone's like you. They don't all worry about the other people in the Outer Rim. And they're not all that patient, either. Crow leaves the room. She seems dangerous. Shouldn't we keep an eye on her? Elysian Harper looks around the room. A few people glance toward the door, like they want to follow Crow out. Yes, please do. I had a gut feeling, though, that her plan couldn't be stopped. From that day on, Enter Heaven split into two factions. The moderates who wanted to raise their voices without straying too far from the old way. and the hardliners, who said the old way would never work, and that extreme measures were required. Naturally, Crow led the hardliners. At the time, both sides thankfully understood one another, even if they disagreed on which method to use. We at least knew why everyone chose the way they did. And the hardliners didn't cross the line. But, as I feared, the hardliners kept getting more and more... goddamn typos. The hardliners kept getting more and more extreme. It didn't matter how much I tried to restrain them or persuade them otherwise. And before long, that ominous feeling I had was made a reality. The terrorist attack she had brought me that day was carried out in secret. They only changed the location. We've just received news of a terrible tragedy. A large-scale terrorist bombing has occurred on an AFX train operated by Elysian. Fuck. Sorry, I'm just taking a bit because this is the event that led to Diesel, Celine, and Brid. And Diesel didn't deserve this. Damn you, Crow. The incident took place as the train was entering the station platform. The explosion, which came from within the passenger cars, not only destroyed the train, but also caused the station structure to collapse, resulting in a terrible tragedy. The central government has deployed numerous NIKKEs to the site to conduct rescue operations. But due to the extent of the collapse, the number of casualties continues to rise. Meanwhile, according to the testimony of I don't know if it's supposed to be of one survivor or of a survivor. A passenger on the train stood up, pulled out a detonator, and shouted the following just before activating it. The AFX incident. Yeah. The worst terrorist attack in the Ark's history was set in motion by Crow. Light is our right. Enter heaven. Using her slogan. God damn it, Crow! The bullet fired. Side B. Just as Crow predicted, after the AFX incident, the name Enter Heaven spread across the entire Ark. The things we'd shouted, which no one ever listened to, finally spread everywhere. Ark citizens began to recognize that people live in the Outer Rim. As soon as public opinion started to deem the central government's initial response as inadequate, the government got in touch with us, saying they wanted to enter into negotiations. What kind of negotiations? They said they would listen to everything we had to say. Of course, given how much death and destruction the attack had caused, we were on high alert. But the government assured us they were aware that only a small number of us were behind it. And that we could bring as many armed guards as we wanted if we were uneasy. Even still, I hesitated. The one who ultimately convinced me was my mother. I'll hear you out. Come if you want to clean up this mess. That was the message I got from her. So we decided to arm ourselves and head over. We figured that the attack had already happened, and sitting around wasn't going to change anything. How do you think it went? Not very well, would be my guess. Why do you think that? If it had gone well, there wouldn't have been any other attacks. Bingo. It didn't end well. Just as we suspected, the meeting was a trap. A trap laid by my mother. When we made it to the conference room, it wasn't people in there who were waiting there for us. It was mass-produced NIKKEs, armed with Elysian's latest weapons. You're kidding! The moment the meeting room door opened, they started firing before we even had the chance to react. In that storm of bullets, I watched as my comrades threw themselves in front of me. Stop! Let me go! I should be in there! I should be dying with them! Get it together, boss! You have to live! That's the only way their deaths will mean anything! One of them hoisted me onto his back and jumped out the window. That's how I survived. Everyone who went to that meeting that day died. Everyone, except me, and the man who jumped out the window with me. Terrible. After that, nothing could stem the tide. Not only did the majority of moderates defect to the hardliners, but remaining a moderate became grounds for being labeled a traitor. The resentment of being treated like garbage for so long. The betrayal from being deceived into approaching the negotiation table. The desire for revenge on behalf of all the comrades we'd lost. You take all those negative emotions and combine them with the precedent that Crow had set, and people began committing terrorist attacks all across the Ark. After that, there was nothing I could do. I know it all started with me, and I'm the one who pulled the trigger when I said we'd lead the Outer Rim toward the light. But once that bullet was fired, it flew out of my control. Regardless of what I'd wanted, I was suddenly the leader of a terrorist organization. A leader who survived by hiding behind the bodies of her comrades. Did your mother ever contact you again? No. She assumed full responsibility for failing to kill me, the head of Enter Heaven, and stepped down as Elysian's CEO. That's why Ingrid had the CEO mantle thrust upon her so abruptly. As for me, I cast off the name of Elysian Harper, and from that day forward, lived only as EH. Having become a powerless leader, incapable of doing anything, I wasn't even able to make decisions after that. All I could do was try to persuade them to carry out attacks that didn't kill anyone. That's pretty much how things were. Until the attack on the Ark that blew a hole in the Dome of Eternity. At the very end of Chapter 21. Enter Heaven's Light. Okay, so the English name here, Heavenly Ascension's Light, versus what I'd like to go with being Enter Heaven's Light. Definitely does have two different meanings. If you go with the English one here of Heavenly Ascension's Light, it's the light that Heavenly Ascension is bringing to bear. But if you go with Enter Heaven's Light, it could mean that, or entering the light of the Ark. But Enter Heaven's Light, Side A. That's everything I can tell you. Does that answer your question? Yeah, I think it's enough. I appreciate your honesty. No need to thank me. This is the first time I've been able to talk so freely to someone. I really appreciate you listening. Whatever decision you make, I'll accept it. We've been in here a while. I'll try and find us a way out. EH stands. You wait here for a sec. EH. Yeah? Do you ever regret it? Regret what? Leaving Elysian and going to the Outer Rim. I turned toward the sound. It came from over there, right? The sound came from beyond a wall piled high with metal crates. Yeah. Stay here. I'll go check. I should come with... Honey, Ken, here? Viper? Hey! Smell... Boss! Come in! It sounds like Jackal and Viper. Viper! Jackal! Over here! Huh? Sounds... them! Boss! Commander! We're here! Get back! Huh? What do you... EH grabs me by the collar and quickly pulls me away from the wall. That sound! Get down! I quickly cover my head and duck. A bomb! There you are! Is everyone okay? You're later than I expected. When I saw the tracker, I figured you'd come right away. Sorry about that. This place is used for cold storage, so the temperature weakened the signal. Plus, we had to make a short pit stop somewhere. Where? Cold storage. No wonder it felt so cold in here. Yep. I guess they figured this was the best place to jam any possible tracking signals. Wait, what tracker? Check the inside of your sleeve. I feel along the inside of my sleeve. I detach a small cube, no bigger than my pinky nail. When you gave me that little boost earlier, remember? What boost? Now, as a sign of your trust and commitment, how about a handshake? That? Remember now? We were escorting you through the Outer Rim. We had to take certain precautions. And what do you know? It helped us find you. Sure, but... I know I technically failed to protect you as I promised. But I did come and save you, so we're good, right? Good? I don't really get what you mean, but Commander is good. Yeah, sure. Thanks for saving me. Don't mention it. Oh, and by the way, we caught the guy who did this. You did? Yeah, that pit stop I mentioned earlier. We went and caught him. He'd actually been upstairs, eavesdropping on us. We subdued him, though. Want to see? Yeah. I'll come too. Are you sure? Might be dangerous. Maybe you should wait outside with Jackal. I'd like to hear what he says. I'm involved in this too, after all. I want to know why he did it. Sure. Then let's go together. With Viper and Jackal leading the way, we go upstairs. A man is there, bound to a pillar and gagged. He glares at us. Viper, can you remove the gag? Yeah, okay. Viper approaches the man and removes the gag. What are you even doing that for? You should just kill me. It's been a while. Melon. You've got a good memory for a traitor. I didn't know you were still alive. Last time I looked for you, I couldn't find you anywhere. So I thought you were dead. Why would I show my face to a central government lapdog? You'd only try and get me to quit Enter Heaven anyway. Why did you do this? Because I resent you. I couldn't believe you'd become a government lapdog. You were our boss! Why didn't you die back then? During the attack on the Ark, you should have just let yourself get blown up along with that surface elevator. You don't have to listen to this, EH. Yeah, there's nothing to hear that you haven't already heard. It's fine. If you just died, if you died without becoming a NIKKE, then I wouldn't feel so betrayed. Someone had to take responsibility. You lived through it too. You saw for yourself the horror we inflicted in the name of terrorism. But no matter how it starts, no matter who incites it, no matter what the justification, as soon as the wrong methods are used, the message loses all meaning. A name can be branded into history, but our cause lost all its legitimacy. We dressed them up under the name of a human rights movement, but all those terrorist attacks were nothing more than violent crimes. Crimes that brought death and destruction to a whole lot of innocent people. We can realize that we were wrong and regret it all we want, but there's no changing the wrongs we committed. It doesn't ease the pain that the victims suffered. There needs to be someone. There needs to be someone who has to atone. God damn it. There needs to be someone to atone. Because pain and sin don't ever go away. EH. All those crimes we committed were in the name of Enter Heaven. So I thought it was only right that I take responsibility for them. Atone, huh? All by yourself? Yeah. I'm the one who started it all. I'm the one who founded Enter Heaven, who failed to stop Crow and the hardliners, and who ultimately decided to go to that meeting where so many of our people died. It was all me. I realized that since I'm the one who started all this, I should be the one to end it. But by the time I made that decision, my body was already dying. That's the reason I became a NIKKE. I wanted to have more time to atone for what I did. I think you should move on too. In that case, let me ask you one last question. In your entire life, has there ever been a time, even just once, when you regretted coming to the Outer Rim instead of taking over Elysian? Oh hey, that's the same question Commander was asking. Did you hear us talking? Just answer the question. Do you regret it? I have more regrets than I can count. But coming to the Outer Rim has never been one of them. I swear it. You should leave Enter Heaven. Admit that what we did was wrong. And cast off your past life. That's the price you have to pay. No. Melon. You're a traitor and a hypocrite. I'll carry my share of sin with me. What? Another bomb? Where was he hiding the detonator? We'll never be making it to heaven anyway. I'll see you in hell, along with the others, boss. Everyone, get back! Melon! Light is our right! It's our heaven! Enter Heaven's light. Side B. When the smoke from the blast clears, we hurry to where Melon had been. but only debris from the explosion remains. For a brief moment, EH stares silently at the remains. Sorry to keep you all waiting. Let's get going. I'll take you outside. Okay. Following EH's lead, we walk toward the outer rim barrier. Viper? Boss? Commander? What's wrong? Why is everyone so quiet? Are you hungry or something? I'm hungry too. Commander, want to eat before we go? For goodness sake, Jackal. I'll buy you some food later, so just wait for now, okay? Huh? Yeah, Jackal starts sniffing and moves toward a box in the corner. What is it? Is there something there? It smells like gunpowder. Boss, is this dangerous? Jackal lifts a small stick from inside the box. That's a sparkler. Sparkly? Do you blow it up? EH takes the sparkler from Jackal. It's a sparkler. You light it like this. EH lights the tip. Okay. A bright light begins to burst from the tip of the sparkler. And it shines like this. Wow! That's so pretty! Commander, Viper, look! It's so pretty! Yeah, you're right. It's very pretty. Never thought I'd see one of these in the Outer Rim. Yeah, it really is pretty. EH stares at the sparkler intently. Her gaze filled with both nostalgia and regret. These are the only fireworks you should be lighting. I want to hold one too. I want to light it. Jackal grabs a handful of sparklers and runs off. Wait, Jackal! Lighting that many is dangerous! Viper runs after her. Azure. Yeah? If I ever get blinded again while chasing after the light, and end up setting fire to something that isn't meant to burn, will you stop me, no matter what it takes? I'm sorry. That's a lot to ask. I don't think that day will ever come. Because I'm positive you won't forget what you're atoning for. As such, I'm not going to agree to stop you. Instead, I pick up a sparkler and touch the tip to the one in EH's hand. I'll watch and support you. I'll watch and support you as you atone. So that someday, you'll finally have atoned for everything and be free. In the shimmering light, EH gives a small smile. That's more than enough. Enter heaven. The end. But of course, there's also the epilogue. Let's swap out Mahara.
좋아, 함께 할게.
Put you in.
역시 돈으로 찍어 누르는 게 최고야.
I heard you ran into some trouble in the Outer Rim. How's your injury? It's fine. It healed up a while ago. I'm pretty sure EH went through worse. I see. Can you tell me what happened? Sure. I tell Ingrid everything that happened in the Outer Rim. Thanks for the report. EH told you about her past. There really was someone still in Enter Heaven, but he took his own life. I see. I suppose now you understand why I said I wasn't fit to judge. Yeah. Well, I think it's safe to say you've heard just about everything at this point. So, now that you have all the information, what do you think of EH? I have sympathy for her. I see. So you consider her a victim as well? Not necessarily. EH the terrorist did unforgivable things. There's no question there. But it's more complicated than that. And there's something tragic to it as well. Is that so? As such, I don't believe she lied about dismantling Enter Heaven. I think her vow to face her past sins and atone is sincere. Understood. I'll be sure to include your thoughts in the report that I send to headquarters. Okay. Well, I guess I'll be going. Alright. Great work. I stand to leave the room. Azure. Yes? I'm going to do something. That can only be done here, and only now. It will be the first time, and also the last. Once you leave this room, you are to forget it. Forget what? Do you understand? Yes, I understand. Ingrid rises and bows her head. What are you doing? Thank you for listening to my sister's story. Ingrid lifts her head again. That is all. Now, leave and forget what just happened. You're welcome. For what? See you around. With a memory in my heart that I'll ironically never forget, I say goodbye to the woman who is both Elysian's CEO and someone's older sister. Honestly, a really good story. Definitely a good story. God damn it, Crow. Just keeps adding so much shit to hate her for.
이제 방해물은 없어. 가자.
But at least now we have EH's story. But now I'm starting to worry if they're going to try and bring Crow back into the story. They probably will, because she wasn't killed off, she was just taken away. And that was the last we heard of her. I'll keep hold of the rest of those. But Closing off with this banger of a song. That is where I will call it. Until next stream, this has been the Azure Guardian. See ya.